So, let's go once again. But actually, let me update my stream. So, did that work? Okay, it did update. Okay, all right, perfect. So, actually, can I? Perfect. Double coordinates. Let me check. Where was I? Cube coordinates. Near neighbors. I'm not interested. Offset coordinates. Nope. Did it move around? Distances. Yeah, that's what I wanted. So yeah, right. So maybe what my problem is. Let me show it quickly. Let's just move that for now away. And perfect. So what state conditions? What was that? Okay, all right. So I implemented very simple physics that I can actually check for collisions, and here I'm currently using something, call it hex spatial grid. So more or less, let me actually, oops, that was wrong. That's what I'd like to have. So I have here this hex spatial grid, and if I go into here, it has a method get nearby, but I actually would like to give this method, or maybe an additional method, something like fn get nearby in range, and would receive something like a grid index. And then I'm not entirely sure if it would be a float, range in float, or maybe in whatever, 32, something like that. I'm not entirely sure, and it should return me an iterator. All the items, maybe even I can maybe have something like, can I go quickly? Nope, I cannot. But yeah, then let's just, it will return entities. And here, that's what I need to do. What do I need to put in here? That's the question. So actually, and what I actually really would like to have would be something like as I'm not sure if I really want to have a enum here, but it could be something different. For example, it could be different methods or whatever. But for now, let's actually just make different methods. I don't think. I think different get. Actually, then the name will be probably kind of long. Get nearest, closest first, something like that, and fn get nearby farthest away, first, or farthest, maybe. But let's just see what we can do at all. If we even can manage to do just a get nearby without any ordering. Because if I could order that by closest and farthest away without actually sorting, as if it's just from the calculation, I can say, okay, if I do that, then I will get my closest first, then I can probably have a little bit of a performance gains. Let's just delete closest, and now, yeah, perfect. So let's see if I can actually do that. And for that, I'm currently looking into this. I hope I don't forget to link it in YouTube when I post it to YouTube. But yeah. Actually, let me just quickly here. Yep. Add YouTube link in. Add link to YouTube. So perfect. So, and now I already have. Actually, let me check. Where do I have cube, round, cube, actual? Here, I'm more or less now. Won't probably want to define fn cube. Let's see. Actually, let's see. Try to understand what's he actually doing here. Actually, that makes it sound a little bit less loud for me. Because for whatever reason, it's still kind of loud. Now, so what actually is he doing here? In this, chain hexagon distance 1 apart in the hex grid, but distance 2 apart in the cube grid. Okay, makes somewhat sense. So function cube subtract, here he just subtracts everything, that makes sense. Okay. So more or less my... okay, I need to subtract them, and then more or less I can say... makes totally sense now that I see it. So, do I have an example here? Yeah, for example, if this is 0, 0, 0, and then I can just pick the highest from my 3, and then I have more or less the distance to my hex grid. That actually makes total sense. No, that... sometimes I really wonder why it's so hard to come up with stuff like this on your own sometimes. Sometimes it just works, but sometimes you really think, hey, I'm brain dead. But yeah, whatever. So now I can more or less then just define... actually, do I actually need to define this, or don't I have this grid in... Let me go to my grid index. Go to implementations. Here, so I already have subtraction. So then I can actually here now define my hub and cube. So actually, now I wonder if I can do that just with axial coordinates, but I guess yes. Actually, I can just go fn cube distance, or let me see what does he. Yeah, exactly. That's what I actually want. With distance, I will just actually just use distance. It takes the left-hand side is grid index and RHS is a grid index, and it returns me I do believe it should be 32, but or size, or actually what do I use in here? Go to definition, E, yeah, actually E. So in the end it will be U, because since we use apps, we have, okay, return, and that is LHSQ minus RHSQ plus apps LHSQ plus LHS R minus RHSQ minus RHS R. Do I actually have an apps function? I'm actually not sure. Go to definition. Here, X, it takes. Then I probably actually don't want to use that. So, actually we want to use apps here, because we're working on integers. Apps here, and plus apps A LHSR minus RHSR, and once again call it here and divide that by 2. You can convert it into an in panic if the converter doesn't fit. And since it should always fit, there's 32. That should work. Perfect. Perfect. So now we have the actual distance. We can actually think about okay, that's actually, now I have the distance, I can more or less now think about if I go to my hex spatial grid, I call it, and now I can think about implementing Actually, can I? Or am I just so stupid right now? Once again, so let's just think about it. Also we can calculate the distance, but we need to actually the other way around. We need, actually no, we don't need. Actually, if we use I-vec 3, go to definition. Actually, let me implement here quickly something. No, we add here impl from I-vec 3 or grid index. Let me, and that will just be Q will be value X and R will be value Y. Just make sure that that is the same thing. Yeah, X and Y is X is corresponds to my Q and Y corresponds to my R. So actually I'm the only thing I'm not entirely sure from axial vec. Yeah, it should be fine. So now that I have that, I can do where was I? Spatial, go to declaration here, go back here, because now I can more or less just say for I equals minus range until range. But actually, now let's give this here or let's make R minus range until range. Or S equals minus range until range. Actually, what? Ah, so I'm in. Oops. In. Let I-vec is I-vec 3 URS. Let index equal. Also, I know that I can from I-vec. I know that I actually could leave out the S because it will be removed here. But I'm feels wrong currently. But maybe I'm just wrong. Let's try it. It can't be that bad. Is that wrong? So crit index would be Q and R. Let's see if it actually works just like that. Cannot apply unary operator to. Oh yeah, that's true. But actually, it would still be better as E. Maybe just like that. But let's set I range equal range as I32. And now I can just use here I range, but it's still a little bit weird. Maybe I'll come up with something better later on. But for now, let's keep it like that. So now we have the index here. Let distance. I mean, actually, distance I don't need. Or actually, since all hexagons should be, let's try it actually like this. Because now let distance, also let look, I'm currently thinking about how to implement, because in my tower defense I implement here, and my towers have a range as a float 32. And I would like to keep it like that. So and I don't care too much, I guess, if the range is a little bit too much. It's probably still better than... Okay, let's try that. So now what I need to actually do... But actually I will then just put here in the position of my tower or whatever I have, because now I can more or less let center would be grid index from world pos. World pos would be my position and my size would be my size. And I hope I don't think wrong right now, but I can do here now more or less my distance would be, or outer grid index would be more or less my grid index from world pos. With my position plus, let me see, do I have some kind of default back here that I can just use? But it does not look like. Wait, one, go to definition, how is it self-split? Go to definition. Oh, sorry, it spells, okay. And normalize in that range. Your size would be here. That I make sure that I contain everything. That should give me some random point in the... Yeah. So... And now I can now define my distance will be axial distance between center and outer grid index. So since now I have my distance, I can now say distance as I32. Now have here more or less my point. And actually, I really save some time. I guess not, but yeah, I'm actually iterating maybe. But yeah, that's a problem for the future, optimizing all this stuff here. So what we now need to do here is actual itself. We now need to access self, get self data. How did I do it up here in get nearby? Yeah, let's use it. And what would be my index here? Actually, that would be my center. So if something should be on the same position, as my tower, then that would be that Z, and it would be the closest that I can go. But yeah, exactly. And now we can here just say initial set extend the data entry index, maybe center plus index, or default iter cloned. And then we can here just say initial set into iter. Does that work? And let's just call it get nearby by distance. Right, it's a little bit misleading, I guess. Get nearby in range. I think that's better. Okay, so now we can actually use that function in our collision. Instead of get nearby, we say get nearby in range. Position would actually be now my poor translation XY. My range would be, do I already have the range here? Actually, yes. would be the collider item. Collider radius and size would be size. Consider dereferencing what? Ah, of course the size needs to be dereferenced here. So now we have more or less iterator for our nearby. We can remove that now. And actually now, let me check if something trigger exactly now, because now we have here all our collisions in range. Perfect. Now I just need to here. So 4 actually, can I do enemies get me min by and compare? Actually, do I want to do it like that? Let's write it a little bit different. Let min is F32 max. What? Not that max. Let what min equals F32 max, right? Let min distance. Let actually, yeah, or yes. Let what min entity equals none. So, and now let's iterate for C in trigger event. How did I call it? I forgot how I call targets. Targets. Okay, why not? Targets. Yeah, I'm quite sure that I called it targets. Or maybe. What? Target? Hä? Why does it think target? Event. Targets. Is private field, of course. Okay. Auto definition, targets, let's make it public. And now field targets of collision should not be private anymore. But maybe first analyzer will start. Maybe it works now. It's still saying, as sometimes it's broken. But okay, so let our key n would be enemies get C width else continue. So if what do I get here? Collision query. It's just entity. Okay, I need the global transform here. Global transform now. And it needs to be now, of course, we need a lifetime. And we can now remove that. And let me just quickly restart. I'm really annoyed when stuff shows me an arrow that's not actually an arrow. Base tower. Actually, where was I? I forgot. I forgot where I was on. Let's just collision here and find air references. Here, exactly. Yeah, that's another place where I need to fix it. But where was the other one? On collision here. Schon, why did I? Yeah, sometimes. Whatever. So the binding n is available in a different scope in the same function where. Ah, okay, still delete. Okay. If let okay, nee, sum n equals min entity else return, and now we can n. So okay, then that is fixed. I will soon. So enemies get width, though. Let if p item transform x translation xy distance that distance and RHS will be n double transform translation xy actually no, I actually need something else as well. Projectile query, go to declaration. I have the range in here, perfect. So if min distance is bigger, or let's say bigger distance, then min distance equals distance and min entity equals sum and width, but equals n. Can I? Or does that work? It seems it works. Okay. Perfect. So, okay. So, can I actually test it? Ah, actually, one thing I need to do. Maybe actually it's not better to if let sum and min distance smaller than p item range 0 or equal as well. Then we do all of that. Oops. Yeah. And now, can I find where the N in the scope? Moment, what? So. Now, hopefully, consider iterating over a slice of. So that should be fine with me. So, anything I forgot here? I don't think so, right? Right. Okay, now I can use that. Hopefully in here. Update tower 1. Actually, all of that. I'm quite sure I don't need that anymore for now. But just comment it out and delete it later on. Because the idea is now that I exactly here I now insert my when I insert my tower, I actually insert a circle collider as well. Of course, I need to insert that into. But can I do that? Okay, I need here for sure something like to do update spatial map as well. So spatial map needs to know that there is a tower now here with that collider. But actually, maybe I can just actually that actually makes so much more sense if I go into grid and I have a plugin here, right? And now add observer here on collider edit. Or should it be here? Or should it actually be what? And thank you very much. Unintersected node. Assertion scene failed. What? What did just happen? Let's find here. Also, sometimes I'm not sure if I'm happy about this new version. It crashes way more. Recover. Let's see. Okay. Now let's actually put this into here because here it probably makes the most sense because here we have add observer on collider edit. Now we need to define that function. Fn on collider edit. It takes trigger. Trigger would be on add circle collider. And what we want is a query where So what do we need? We need the entity. Actually, entity we don't need. We only need the global transform. I would probably actually want to have here. And with circle collider. And hopefully that actually, and of course we need here the hex spatial hex spatial grid resmut hex. So, and no, and then actually we probably want another one on collider updated. I'm just not sure if there is something like that trigger on chain or changed. A filter on a component that only retains results the first time after they have been added or multiple dereferenced. Actually, no, let me quickly Google that if there is Bevy trigger on change, if there's something like that. Yes, that is probably too old. It won't. No. Here, let's see, maybe we can find, let's actually make that big. And maybe we can see what events we have. Maybe we can just search for, go in here and look for what it is implemented on these. Actually, es gibt on despawn. Huh, I didn't know that. Okay. Oh. Let's think about that. Tum. If there's something like wait on add, on insert, on remove, on replace. Window move, not really. State transition. So there is no event for changed. Actually, maybe. Okay, if there's none, then there is none. Okay, then we can't do that. Okay, hex spatial grid update index. Okay, then we need the size as well. Hex grid render radius. So let index equal grid index. Oops. Or first, let OKT would be query get trigger target, else return. Let world path equal T translation XY. Oh, I forgot to add some imports, but I can add some quick. Oh, that was the wrong one. This one, and we need that. Another problem. Okay. Yeah, let's just remove them for now. Maybe later on. We actually require them entity. Okay. let index equal grid index from world pass size. And now we have the index, perfect, and entity would be trigger target. And what is the problem? Access but is inaccessible. Okay, because I probably still have in here. No. Okay, then I didn't save for whatever reason. So now we have onCollider added. We more or less insert that. Maybe I can actually onCollider remove trigger on that one. Actually, now I only need only that, I think. But let's see. Hex special grid remove entity trigger target. Actually, I don't even need the size here. That makes it nice. And observer on collider removed. So remove all unused, right? Actually, yeah, I remove too much. I know. Sometimes I'm. What? Yeah. And event, of course, I need as well. And I do really want to remove that. Anything else I missed? Yeah, set is actually unresolved because it does not exist anymore. Yeah, no, with... Okay, that's the upper one, but actually let's move all that in its own function. Because I really don't like it if it's... This is more or less... Perfect on collision. So we have now what is the problem? Actually, that is not okay. So let's just see what we actually need to do here. On collision, if trigger event targets is empty, command entity trigger target remove timed, else here collision. And that does not exist anymore. Do I have now multiple on collision methods? Okay, then I have to rename that method here on top to enemies in range and call it here on enemies in range. Maybe I should make sure that any of them is an actual enemy. That actually makes sense, because there could only be towers in range. So actually, could I improve the collision detection for... Oh, that is a future me problem. That it more or less triggers per component or something like that. I have to investigate that. But for now, let's just make for T in trigger event targets if enemy, so there's a contains, right? Trigger T with, then we just do that and can return. Let yeah, I need to references. Let has any false or what? Okay. Actually, I don't need that, because if I find anything, then I return here. Else, I can just go now in here and do that. Perfect. When enemies in range. So now let's check this method. That was the last problem I had, because now more or less here. So what here I check if an enemy is on range, and if an enemy is on range, I insert more or less a timer that periodically triggers. Oh, that I can say it. I'm somehow getting really tired right now. Maybe I should stop, but I actually want to finish that. So let's keep on rolling until it's hopefully working. Yeah, so I insert here the timer. And here I actually need to make the selection of what enemy do I shoot at, and maybe I actually can actually let me check something on does my fix. Do I actually check here already for the distance, so I know that the entities I get returned are in range of my collider, which more or less should be the range of whatever I... Perfect, because then I actually don't need to do what I did in my... Where did I... not. Actually, I did it here, in here, right? I did here on Collider Edit. Is that what I need to do? No, I'm confused. Once again. Yeah. Collision here, go references. Base tower here, right. Actually, I already have it. I'm really confused. Didn't I just make some random distance calculations? I could swear I did that just now. Then I'm really getting tired. If I randomly forgot things like that. What is going on, brain? Please. Here a little bit. Here. On collision. Right. We don't need this distance. We only need... Ah, okay, but I need the distance here because... As I could probably optimize it a little bit, but that's a problem for the future. To do maybe optimize this with closest X spatial bits. If that's even possible. I'm currently tired. I'll just leave this to do here for me, and maybe at some point I stumble upon it again, and then I hopefully or try to fix it. So where was I? Right, we now wanted to have here hex. I think we need to always have mutables. That's actually not so nice that we always need mutable access. But once again, problems for my future self. Hex crit, hex spatial crit. What exactly am I doing? So let's check this again. We have our tower. And we have our translation, XY. Yes, exactly. We do not have the translation from our enemy. Enemy translation. We need the enemy translation. And that's what we need the hex special crit because yes, so now we actually I'm not sure if we really gained anything now because now we need to. Can I? Actually, maybe I should just try to select here already my target. And here I will check only if this is, because how often do I trigger this collision event? Let me check collisions, because I'm quite sure that I trigger that quite often. Yeah, more or less each update. Maybe I actually should do that in the fix. No, let's just keep it here in the, for now, optimization can come later. So we have here more or less, we trigger that. Actually, can I? Yeah, actually, that should be fine. So now, what's going on? Let's restart again. And I already forgot where I was, but based or here. I guess I was in here. So, yeah, I try to think about if I, because more or less I already iterate here, so maybe I should really just put in here the target selection. And as long as it is in here, actually now I can try to extract that. I did that down here already, so let's just extract this here into a function. Probably on those collisions. Physics here. So impl, yeah, impl collision. Get how do I call it? Pub fn get by. Maybe I just call it get by. Let me see if I can I sell targets would of that, of course. Can I actually abstract that away? That is my question right now. Because I have something like a condition which takes a function which would be there on valid entity. Would actually not once. I actually probably just, let's see when it. Maybe I need to make it mutable. And then min. The other thing would be fn get by min distance. Let's just make it like that for now. And it gets how much do I really abstract away here now? That's actually my question. I'm not so sure about. Because I would now need or I could just if I take that, if I call it like that, and I want to have partial alt, actually, what does it return? Ordering, but I think actually a partial compare returns option ordering. Okay. Option ordering. Okay, then I have more or less now a filter function and a ordering function, order by f. And now, if not valid entity, the width continue. And actually I need to import that ordering here. Oh, actually, I just am I too stupid? But actually, can't I just do it like that? Self targets iter filter valid entity min and actually it returns entity option entity option entity. So now min, why can't I? Okay, what is now still the problem there? Let me target it filter valid entity min by, I guess. I'm the only thing I'm not sure, because I'm quite sure that it would need. What is it doing? Order by. expected a closure with signature for blah 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 blah. The method mimics for structure, but its transparent when not. Actually, FN1s do they use here? Which is required by blah 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 blah, standard blah 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 blah, which is required by blah 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 blah. Can only be used if the trait is implemented and in scope. Okay. Let's actually that collision. And it gives me here a collision target, right? Okay, and expected 2 collision targets. Found F. Okay. I do believe that's something I can do as well. Collision target. Collision target. And I do believe, yeah, I need to remove the get filtered by. Oh no, I could actually implement something like, yeah, let's just see if I can actually use it. Base tower, let min entity equals trigger event get filtered by valid entity is this. If we have enemies get the contains the width and order by is LR. Let's that's actually another question because damage. I can do that. Actually I can because we want to have the let position equal p item transform translation x y. And now we can say here position distance L smaller. I need to what total compare? Okay. Yeah. I actually have a position. But that's actually. Can I just take that? Because I of course need here a position distance. So Now the question is here, if I guess I could actually use that, which makes it, hopefully, a little bit faster. Then I can more or less remove all that. And they should be in range, because that's what I already made sure. That actually looks so much better. So much better. Now I can go up to that function, reuse that functionality. Hopefully to find my actual target here. Here I need now fire rate and global transform. And now I can more or less say here T translation. Valid enemy contains the width. And now I need to define our abstract our target up entity. I need to derive component. And now I can check here if let some target equal min entity. I can say commands entity trigger target insert if new my timed from my fire rate and my trigger power target from what is my entity in entity any target width. And I of course need to surround both of them with else, if I don't have a target, I want to remove my timed and I want to remove commands entity. Let's just get entity command and equal that. What did I? So okay, and entity commands remove that, and entity commands remove our target. Okay. I of course need to remove a local variable with did I? Okay. So now, since we have the entity commands, I guess I did everything I wanted to do here, right? Now I can actually just make it like that. On tower target add, let's rename that. And now I more or less need the logic for spawning everything. So that's more or less the logic for spawning a projectile for that tower. So I need projectile mesh, press projectile mesh. I think I have a typo in there. That's a little bit sad. Projectile material is res projectile material. Transform I still need. Actually, do I? Yeah, I need the transform. Projectile is position and direction. Okay. I need to calculate. Projectile speed. Actually, that could be something I query from my tower. And damage range. So I actually need tower query, which looks like query damage range. Actually, do I already insert speed in here? Let me check that. Currently not, but I could just insert here speed as well, and then yeah, why not? Speed equal speed. Actually, let me check what is currently my projectile speed is 650. So something like random range between 500 and 650 for that tower for now. Okay. Then I actually can query in here the speed with arrow power. I missed another. Though, and commands, of course, I need as well. Commands. So now I have the commands. Transform. Enemy query is query. Actually, I guess I would need global transform as well. Global transform, but here I probably need to say without enemy. And here we have with enemy. So let's position is what we need. Would be our, or let's just make the returns. Okay, what do we have? Damage, range, speed, and transform equal power query get trigger target else return. Let okay enemy transform be enemy query get our target. Actually, do I have yeah, I have my true. Actually, I'm not entirely sure if I have event in components get what is my get 0, I guess. Take. Nope. What am I trying to do here? So I should have actually then maybe let's just make my life easier and put it in here as well, because then we have the tower target in here. And then I can trust more or less that enemy transform would be enemy query get TT bull. So of course I need to okay else return. Okay, and of course I need to do this, so. And now we need the let position equal t translation xy. Let transform equal transform from x, y, z, and that would be position x, position y, and that would be something like, I guess I used 5. And direction, let direction would be et translation xy minus our position. And now we have the direction as well. And damage would be just our D, and range would be our R. Actually, why do I have the speed in here? For what did I want to have the speed? Speed 0. Yeah, projectile size for now is a constant. I don't will make that random. And on timer elapsed, we more or less want to do the same thing. Paste and more or less. Ah, wrong button. That's why it didn't work. Why did it not? What did I not copy? I'm just quite sure. Okay, I did not copy everything. Good job, good job, good job. So, cannot on time at on tower target at actually on tower target at. That's what I want in here, right? So let's see. Okay. Vary conflicts, then let's say here allow click the type complexity for now. And the same here. Allow click type complexity. And actually, it looks like that it could work. Targets in range. Tower. Let's clean a little bit up here. And save everything. And let's see before I stop for today. Cargo run. Everything is still compiling, and even better if it's actually working, which I would be really surprised if I didn't make somewhere some kind of mistake. And I did somewhere some kind of mistake. Do I have enough brain power to check out where it's failing? Do I have enough brain power? Also, actually, I guess info enemies in range. Let's see if that is working. It's yeah, a little bit more is possible still. So let's spawn a tower here and enemies in range. So it actually does find enemies in range. Let's see if it just returns your info. Not found. If that is a problem, cargo run. Actually, it does not look like. Okay, let's see. Info min entity. Physics does not implement makes sense. That it does not, but maybe collision target mod physics collision target derive debug. Does that work? Good. Then we can go in here again. No, it's actually has some kind of min entity. The position seems not right at all. Not at all. Why is the position so broken? Check collisions here. Not multiply. Add. Well, let's see if that makes actually a difference. Okay, now at least the positions look good. So the question now is, actually, does it not shoot? So, okay, but that's actually kind of nice to see. So we actually have some minity and we insert if new. I'm actually not. Actually, no. It should work as I expect. So I insert tower target. So let's see if that is called info tower add called. So cargo run. Let's add a tower. Tower add is called as well. Hey, I'm amazed. So it's actually somewhere down the line. That's actually nice to see. Info tower not found. Let's see if that's the problem. Or info enemy not found. Let's see if one of those is a problem. And no, it's not a problem. Why? Why is it not a problem? Okay. I'm still amazed that it seems. Where was I? Here. Also, that's not a problem. So I should spawn at least one projectile. I'm confused. Let's put it in here. Spawning those projectile. Cargo run. Spawning first projectile. Did I forgot anything? Is the update method not working? Projectile category speed, damage, transform, direction. What do I insert here? Well, let's check if I get here some kind of problems. Info. Trigger timed triggered trigger. Let's see if that is a problem. Cargo run. I'm starting to get confused. Spawn. Ah. Okay. Okay, that, for example, is not triggered at all for whatever reason. So, but we do have timed. Could it be that I'm as smart as I am? The smartest person alive, so to say? Update timers. I do believe that that method is nowhere called. Right. Search. Now go to references. Yep. Main. That's slightly disappointing. Here, update timers. And import cargo run. It's still not. Go to E. Go. So let's see if I update my timers. Update timer. Cargo run. Let's make sure that it's working. Update timer, okay. Let's see if I actually trigger events. Info. Trigger event. Oh, by the way, I always make it a closed window if I could just leave it open. But hey. And I'm too stupid. Update. Timed trigger. So it actually does trigger now. Sometimes time triggered, okay, so it seems to work sometimes, no? But why do I not see my projectiles? What? Let's look again back to my base tower and see where I did update projectiles. So, spawning first projectile. Let's see if I can. Here, let's print. Print my position. And let's go with direction as well. And I will remove this here info enemy info change blah inserting blah spawning. Nee, that wasn't that time triggered. Oh, did I already remove it? And I'm just really okay. No comment. Cargo run. So that actually seems not right. The position should always be. I mean, direction. Okay, direction is fine. That's changed. And base top position seems correct as well. So it's not set as well. Then it's something different. I'm not entirely sure what is now the problem. Base tower. Okay, so it should work. Maybe that's not working. Info. Tower not found. Info. Enemy not found. Let's test that quickly. Until we get where we need to go. Okay, update timer. Let's search for update timer. Update timer here. That should be removed. Oh, let's add something addition. Base tower. Let's add in here again. Timer elapsed. Go run. How often that actually gets triggered? It should in theory be triggered. Okay, it just gets not triggered enough. But why? Why is it not triggering enough? I really would like to fix that. But do I have the brain capacity? Timed. Let's go back in here. Trigger events. That's never called here because but Let's check how often do I remove or remove. Because that would be the only explanation for me currently, since this is called too much. Yeah, that's called way too often. That is a problem, but why? Why is this called so much? I did check that's the entity. Min entity. It was not that often. I'm confused now, once again. Here. So we have a non-removed some. So my Of course, I only want to. Of course, I want to make it like that. And if I do that like that, it's still not shooting, but it almost never has none now. So now, actually, if we go to our base tower and okay, as a remove, we can leave in there. The next question. Actually fix that, I guess, I think. So, let's see. We have projector mesh, blah blah blah. We spawn here. Projector mesh. Transform projectile. Damage and range. We have that. We have everything I need, I guess. Let's check again. What is here? Active projectile. Range, speed, damage. Let's just let's do it like that. And yank that and compare that with what we have on top, what we insert here. So we have projector, we have direction, we have range, we have damage, we have speed, we have. So we do have everything. What we use down there. Could it be? Go to declaration. That we just remove it already because no, here we say we only want enemies. So if it's not an enemy, then we shouldn't remove it. Hit enemy. Let's see if that actually occurs somewhere. Hit enemy, hit enemy, hit enemy. It actually looks like that I... So we actually shoot, we just don't see it. And then actually I know what the problem is because trigger, tower target, enemy not found. Did we have that in here? Enemy not found. Nope. Damn it. Then I don't know what the problem is. Tum. But actually, if that is not true, we can commands entity trigger target entity commands. We can now here more or less just remove or timed and entity commands remove our tower target. Because if we don't find that entity anymore, then we can just say bye-bye. I will run. I actually probably we only want to remove that because so I will run. Here removed. So it still looks like as if it should work, but you know what? Let's just try something. Maybe I'm just... Maybe that works. Maybe it's really just... No, I do believe that it actually, that the problem is that it instantly thinks it hits something, but I'm not sure why it would think that. Let's see what it hit enemy. We are here. Can we debug here? N. Pos. And what do we need? Entity. And position and with I need to entity equals that and pos equals that. Cargo run. So hit enemy, none. None does not sound so good. None does not sound so good. That does not sound great, right? I would say. And that probably explains why it would break here. So let's go back in here and check why it could be none. Oops. Double ops. Info. Deal. What else do we need? Translation. Here equals deal and translation equals core translation xy. Go run. Yeah, that looks all really good. Okay, let position equal, what do we have here? Actually, let's move that here and just enter here position. Now we can here add position as well. Position equals position. And that looks really good as well. How do I get none in there? Yeah. Hit enemy back none, but that's... I'm really confused, because it looks good until it doesn't. Base tower? Or did I somewhere... Yeah, min entity. I don't get it. Okay, let's remove that for now. L position, air position. I hit enemy. Am I too stupid now? Event get filtered by Klar und order by Fed. And what the fuck is now going on? Now I'm really wondering what's going on in there. It says hit weg zueinander, but it never ever no, what is going on here? Let event is trigger event. And now event get filtered by. Did I do something wrong in here? I don't see it. I'll run. Actually, one possibility is that it just can't write those things out for whatever reason. No, actually, I would be. Hit enemy? None. Very interesting, very interesting what's going on here, because I'm really not seeing it. Or maybe I'm not allowed to pass around those. Can I just move that? Does that make a difference? No, hit fine. No, it at least tells me that I have no hit. Which is still weird as Let's do something else. Let's info use then collisions event targets length. Collisions 0, collision 1. But even then I get... Well, can I just... Let's see what we have here. Power 1. Yeah, I need to make that. Of course, debug now. Okay, collisions. Not really. Collision target. Position, none. Okay, that's at least explains where this is coming from. But now why do we get... probably... No. Mod. So let's check that again. So we get here collision. Also we get all our colliders with that global transform, because that should give us the actual board position, regardless if they are children or not. So then, hey, please give me the nearby. And here I get the center, outer. I guess here I have a problem. I need to ensure that if E range equals zero, E range makes it one. But I'm still not entirely sure where I get that none. Here, I do get none inside of here, but when would that happen? If my direction let's just make sure I spawn them at the right position and not directly at the enemy. That would be kind of stupid if I spawn my position. No, it's tower. Yeah, it's the position of my tower. Okay. So okay, that's something I need to think about tomorrow. Oh, I just realized, why is that like that? And then key config move. Show all that. Actually, let's make that like that, because I'm actually quite sure that I changed that at some point. Well, whatever. So why do I get none? But actually, that only could happen if position X is none or position Y is none. Let's log direction and position. Or let's do yeah, if I normalize 0, 0, but why? But 0, 0 can only happen if other transform translation x by equals my current translation. Let's see. If that really is the case, but I'm... Oh, nearby, and I do get the nearby thingy. Ah, because it's colliding, but that's... If it's really that... Here, I do say enemy contains, so... Let's just check that. If not enemy... Let's do that here info. Enemy contains... enemy contains entity target with... Can I do that, or does it complain that I moved? Enemy contains true. Actually, it's the right place. Actually, probably not. I wanted... It was on my collision here actually. And here it's called enemies. Enemies. And... okay, now it complains because I moved that, but since I do not need to move, I can just do that. And... enemy contains true. How? Do I really spawn? My projectile? But no, I do go say here, enemy query. Or do I put the tower targets the wrong thing in there? But even then... So I get here my enemy transformation. So I spawn my projectile at my tower translation. And then my direction is my enemy translation x minus position. I really don't get it. How can they be exactly the same? Is it... Okay, I need to go to sleep. It's I already seem I can't concentrate, so yeah, I probably will tackle that tomorrow at some point. So yeah, thank you very much for watching and see you around. Have a nice day.